Number 8.
How do you plan to have children if you find sex so distasteful?
Well, you know, there are all kinds of methods these days, aren't there? AI, I believe, is one, isn't it? Isn't it? Artificial insemination is a pretty probable... I see he's stuttering. He's quite clearly, he's on the ropes here. He's embarrassed. He thinks he's sorted it all out, and he's clever and dispassionate about sex, but actually listen to him stutter. He's mad. No, sorry, I'm just pretending to be someone who doesn't like me, which I am, in fact. Well, it would be nice to have children. I'm prepared to do that ghastly deed in order to have it. I just wouldn't wish it on anybody else. I mean, can you imagine my grunting, sweating frame on some poor girl? You know, she must have better things to want to do. Number 10.
How many times a day do you think about sex?
I thought you were going to say, do you masturbate? Do I think about sex? Well, I'd read somewhere that the average man thinks about sex 15 seconds, is that correct? I think I'm probably pretty near that mark, in the way that it flickers across the mind, but then I think about food probably about the same amount of times, or drink, or having a cigarette, or whatever it is, or getting my next fix of heroin. No, I'm teasing there, of course. Yeah, quite a lot, a great deal, because I'm not, you know, by saying I'm celibate, I'm not saying I'm some kind of, I'm not saying I'm some kind of, what? What aren't I saying? I'm some kind of, I'm not saying I'm inhuman. I'm not saying I don't think about things like that, because I do all the time.
Who was the last man you fantasized about?
You are a cheeky son of a bitch, aren't you? Daughter of a bitch, whatever gender you are. I don't know. I don't really fantasize about particular people, to my knowledge. I could just give a comic answer and say Bob Holness, because let's face it, that's the sexiest man you're ever going to come across on this earth. It's very evasive. I'm going to say Bob Holness. And finally, we have health and happiness.
Please choose any number.
1.
How good a dancer are you?
Absolutely chronic. Don't have a look. You see, the thing is, you'll see, I mean, this is not a body that's made for dancing. It makes rather a lot of noise because of all this kind of keys and things in my pocket. So perhaps if I take this off for a second. I won't ask to have any music, you see. But I've never known how you're supposed to dance, what you're supposed to do when you dance. I haven't got anything to dance with here. That's to say, I'm not talking about ballroom dancing. I'm talking about, you know, disco dancing, whatever. You know, when you're young, well, girls are all right because they can put their handbag down and sort of do that, sort of thing like that. But I'm always looking at the other person and trying to copy them, so the rhythm goes out of the thing. So you stand there kind of sort of, you know, not sure, is this right? And then you think, oh, well, actually, I'm not moving my feet very much. I'm just sort of doing that. And the other people are kind of going, you know, real kind of... But as you can see, this body is just not made for dancing, so I tend to sort of do things like that and kind of, you know, sort of stuff, try and be vaguely comic about it, but it's just a bad body for dancing. It's a tragedy, but there you go, you know? Number 11.
Have you noticed any improvement in your health since you were struck down by celibacy?
Struck down? You've obviously got an axe to grind on this, my dear, haven't you? Improvement to my health? No, not at all. In fact, if anything, the reverse, because I've been celibate now for about 8 years, and in that time, I used to be quite skinny, and in that time, I've started to get a bit more of a gut. I'm losing that now. I mean, you know, my love handles are quite pronounced down here, and my pecs aren't as firm as they are. My nipples, although, as I've said, they're lovely, they're a little bit pointing downwards when I want them to be pert and twinkly and sort of up here and looking exciting. So, since I was celibate, I started to put on weight. My metabolism changed. This could be it. I better choose another number. Well, let's go over in the corner again. 15. We're almost symmetrical here, aren't we?
When were you last hungover?
I wish you hadn't asked me that, because, in fact, it was this morning. Very odd thing. I went, had dinner with an old chum, and bottles were consumed. Woke up in the morning with a bit of a head.